But we are officially recording. I'll turn off this Pandora music so I don't get shut down on my YouTube channel. Hey, I am super excited about today. Let's see. I'm going to see exactly who we have on right now. We got Lisa, Jacqueline, Kira, Dana, Jackie, and a phone caller. And then, okay, everybody's coming on right now. So we won't go and list them all. But I'm super excited. The whole point of this call today is just to celebrate some success, of what we've accomplished, what some of you guys have accomplished. And then it's like, what do we do next, right? This is over. So what are you going to do tomorrow, Friday, now that this deadline has come for this push group? Some of you may have hit the goal. Some may have missed it. I know coaches that hit it, fell out of the goal, and didn't get it back on time. So I think the most important part of something like this push that we did is what do you do next? What comes next? And there's something I want to talk about for those of you. I will celebrate some of the people that did hit their diamond, but a lot of you guys didn't get your diamond right now, and that's okay, because from my personal experience, I'll tell you, I've pushed my first business center to 15-star diamond like 20 times, or set that goal, and I still have not hit it and locked it in. And today was one of those goals as well. So any of you guys that pushed for diamond didn't get it, I'm with you. I pushed for a goal as well and didn't hit it. So, but what I can say is we're closer than we've ever been because of the effort that we put. So I want you to think about that. So if you didn't hit it, look at how much further you've come, or how much more you've learned, how many more seeds you've planted, because that's where the important thing is. And the thing that's going to set the difference, whether you miss the goal or you hit it, is what you're going to do moving forward. And we'll call it like your mindset. So either way, we've hit whatever you want to call it, an obstacle, right? Or you could call it a setback, whatever you want to call it. There's two ways that you can react to it. And the first way, which many of us happen to do, but what I want to help you guys fix and learn, is we go into a feeling of despair. How many of you, raise your hand if you've ever had that feeling? When something bad happens or you don't hit a goal, you go into a feeling of despair. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like a panic, like it didn't work out, or, maybe you have 4 coaches and 1 inactive. You can go into despair. You can be like, oh my gosh, I lost 1. How am I ever going to get to this goal of having 8 coaches and the 2 emeralds? So that's what we can do, but you've got to train yourself and train your mind to think of another way. Instead of having feelings of despair, you've got to turn that emotion that creates that into a feeling of empowerment. So empowerment of how can I use this? And I use simple things like today. I talked to my kids about the goal that I had. They've known we had this goal. I've talked about it. And my 7-year-old wrote on this little board here where they draw me pictures, I hope daddy can be a 15-star diamond. And then it says Mila. So I looked at that as in like an empowerment, like the feeling I had this morning, instead of feeling despair, like we missed it, we're too short. I took that and I said, okay, a couple things I did. I first said, okay, what could I have done more? What could I have done more? And I honestly, in my business, I get so focused on working. Like I grind it out, like Eric Thomas would talk about, or would say, that I do my 4 vital behaviors, and then I go right to my group. Like I'm on a system, right? I go right to my groups, my coach training groups, my challenge groups. Then I go into my follow-up list, and then I go on to answering messages, continuing building those relationships. And then what I realized is during this 15-star, I did all of that. Then I reached out to my coaches that were helping this team push for 15-star diamond. So one thing I realized this morning was, if my top priority and goal is, after the 4 vital behaviors, is to take this team to 15-star diamond, before I do all that other stuff I was doing, which is important, I should have been reaching out to my coaches that were pushing for diamond first thing, like every day, first thing, reaching out to them. And it was a simple thing like that. So this morning, I just, instead of feeling despair, I said, okay, what could I have done different? Where could I have, because everything, right, you got to take personal responsibility. So I said, what could I have done different? And it was as simple as that. That was the activity that I was missing. So the first thing I did this morning, Lisa Matthews is one. We're in like a chat with Sean. Before I did my groups today, I reached out. Like she'll notice I reached out today at like 10 o'clock versus where I usually do it at like 2 or 3, which is the end of my work day. So I'm going to make that change personally. Another thing that you can do, let me mute everybody real quick as people are starting to log on. So it's taking those emotions where you could feel despair for not hitting that goal and creating emotions of empowerment and change. So that's the first thing I did. I talked to my daughters about it. They bring me joy. She wrote me this encouraging post, like this encouraging thing, right? And I've looked at it like 10 times today, and I'm like, I can do this. I must do this as well for this team. Like my daughters, they see these things right here and ask me when I'm going to be, this team is going to be a 15-star diamond. So like I'm going to do it for them, yes, as well, for our team. So I created those emotions of empowerment versus despair. The other one, like I said, is I changed I realized or self-evaluated where I needed to change. And it was, I was not putting those leaders at the top priority of my business. I was putting it at the end. So it's reprioritizing your most important activities. And I learned that also as well from Barbie, my accountability partner, who did lock in her goal today with their team. And so I realized that that's the first thing she did every morning. And I really realized that yesterday when she wrote me in the morning at like 10 and I didn't respond till like 2:33, and she's like, write me back, where are you at? And so I realized that I didn't put that as a top priority. So I take ownership of that. So just making a change. So that's an empowering feeling, like realizing what I could have done different. And then the third thing is I asked for help. Like I said, I put my head down and I try to grind it out every time. First thing I did actually before my workout, after my personal development, when I was self-evaluating what happened, I left Lindsay with our iPhones a little voice message to my coach, Lindsay. And I said, Lindsay, and I haven't done this for probably 4 years. I said, Lindsay, I need help. Like I can't do this on my own. Like something's falling short. You've done this almost 4 times now. So I need help from you on knowing how I can help this team be a superstar, 15-star diamond team. We fell short of the goal today, but I believe and know that we can do it in the next 2 weeks. Can you help me do that? Can we set up a video chat where I get my 15 coaches on and we chat with you and we figure this thing out? And she said, yes. So we're planning that. So that's what I want you, those of you that fell short of the goal today, take those emotions that could cause despair or those thoughts of failure and turn those emotions into empowering thoughts, empowering actions. Does that make sense, everybody? How that will help you? And if you can do that consistently over time, you're going to become stronger, emotionally stronger for your team, for your coaches, for the people around you. And when you're strong like that, it empowers other people to take that strength and become like I've heard, I think Joel Osteen talk about, become victors rather than victims, right? When you miss a goal, you could feel like a victim, like, why does this happen to me? Why can I not do this? But instead, turn those feelings into that. So that's for those of you that fell short, but also for those of you that hit diamond that are pushing forward, because your job now is to duplicate yourself into somebody else. Simple as that. And so often we overwhelm things, right? But it's do what you're doing right now and duplicate that into somebody else, into somebody else's life, help them learn how to do that. And I'm going to touch on some things today that I really want to focus on as a team as we come out of this. But first, let's celebrate some diamonds. I pulled up the thing here, so it's going to take a minute to read through it. But I know that Lisa Matthews became a diamond today. So Lisa, I'm just going to give you like 2 minutes to tell us a little bit about your journey. When was your start date? Was it 6 months ago or 7 now?
I'm 7 months. Yeah, September 16th.
So 7 months, and then you were just a brand new emerald when we started this, when I called you out and said, we're going to make a 15-star diamond team. And so it was like 60 days, and she went from emerald to a diamond today, from just having 2 coaches to being a diamond. So Lisa, tell us, so we can all learn from you, what did you do different? What things triggered in you? What thoughts, what mindset shifts, what activities shifted so that you made this happen?
I guess I would say that I started to look at my challengers in a different way, as opposed to them just being customers and participating in groups. I really just figured that I wanted to look for the potential in them that was in me at the very beginning of my program. Like I had only been through my program for maybe 30 days before I decided to become a coach, and that I thought this was something that I could do. And during running the challenge groups and having these support groups, I really was for the first 6 months, just really looking at them as challengers and customers. And so for those 60 days, I just wanted to really just connect with them, be in the group as often as I could, showing leadership and just setting an example of what it is I'm really doing and my enthusiasm about it. And then I would privately just reach out to each one of them that had been on Shakeology for 4 or 5 months, or had just been really engaging or referring people to come and join into these groups, because I allow them to, refer people over. And that's all I really did. That's where my focus changed. I just looked at the potential in my challengers, and about 8, I think it's 7 of them are the ones that decided that this is for them and something that they can do, and converted over into challengers. So I think that is something for me that I want to continue focusing on, is really focus on these amazing challenge groups that I'm running, and the interaction that's happening in them, and the results, and just how people are growing and changing. And just, if I'm strong in those groups and strong with them, with my leadership and showing up and just being very positive about how it is that I'm running this business, myself as a coach, it's something that they can believe in for themselves. And that was truly what changed for just April alone, was just them believing that this is something that they can do from the work that I'd put in with these groups.
Awesome. I love that. Like, man, you answered that like you'd see on a Super Saturday video, a testimony. So a lot can change in a short amount of time. I know Lisa shared with our Coach Basics, she was helping me run a Coach Basics group. And I know that one thing that stood out to me that helped me realize that we need to help people understand as well is she was putting in, like, throughout the day, from morning to when kids nap to evening, 8 to 10 hours a day on her business. It's not like just 1 hour, like eating, living, and breathing Beachbody, and raising those kids that we can hear singing a beautiful song. Okay, awesome. I'll mute you, and we'll awesome. So, she was putting in the work, treating it like that business. And actually, we're okay hearing the kids, Lisa. I'm going to ask you the most important question. So those were the how-tos, right?
Yep.
Those were the how-tos, like running challenge groups, helping everybody in there, pouring belief into them, showing leadership by showing up at the level that she was showing up. But why did you spend 10 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day doing that? Tell us why you're doing that and why you're building this business, because that's the most important part. I can tell anybody.
Yeah. Why for me is basically I have found a really great purpose and with Beachbody coaching, and it's something that was very important for me to find, to bring back belief in myself. And I did just start off kind of tiptoeing into just having this as a hobby at the beginning. And me and my husband really sat down and just decided that we want to make a plan of action for me to be able to help provide a bit for our family. We're going through quite a few things with him being away at work all the time. I'm home alone a lot, raising 4 children, and it's really important to us over some things that have happened in these last 6 months that I want my husband home more, and we just set that goal and set a plan. And I just discovered that nothing was going to happen. I wasn't going to see anything progress if I wasn't going to really decide to commit and go all in with this business. It was just going to be something that I was doing and not really benefiting from and building. So my why is strongly my family. It has been very disconnected for 6 years. I have a son with autism as well, and we have bills, and he's attending public schools now. And we just want to get our life together and be together as families and husbands and wives should be. I don't believe that you should be having a life with your husband only 30 days a year. And that goes for my kids having a father for only 30 days of a year. So it's very important to me that I can do this for not only myself, but for him and for my kids.
Awesome. I love that. Man, it choked me up a little bit. So 80% of your success is going to be why you're doing it, like your philosophy and your mindset, and 20% the mechanics of it. So remember that. Like, don't try to figure everything out, be perfect at it. Like, see, I can tell you right now, if Lisa tells us what she just told us right there, if she tells one person a day for the next 5 years, she'll be a $1 million earner with Beachbody. If she works like she does with that same passion, that's where she'll be. And all it's going to take is talking to one woman on the phone, or one mom connecting with her about the family, about, only being with her husband 30 days out of the year. And that this is how she's changing that. And it's how it's helping her become a stronger woman, and everything that it's doing for her. She will find and attract everybody that she needs to have a 15-star diamond team, become an elite coach in this company. So I want you guys to understand that as well. That's what it's going to take. And that's why she's a diamond today. The challenge groups, that's her thing that works for her, because we each got to find the thing that works great for us. But the thing that's really working for her is that she and her husband made a real decision to change their life. Not like, I'm going to try this, I'm going to stick my toes in and see if it works, or I'm going to give this 6 months, and if I start to see some traction, then I'll go all in. It was like, I'm going all in from day one. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us, Lisa. So I know some of the people can't be on here live, but I'm going to read off all the new diamond rank advancements real quick. We had Lisa Matthews today. We had Brittany Morris on the 17th of March, Chris Pinkston on the 10th of March, Brittany Howe on the 20th of March, Kira, January, February, March 10th. We had Riley Pope on March 24th, Allison Bianchi on the 24th, and Lisa, like I said, Lisa today. And I'm going to read through the comments. Some people didn't put them up there. Make sure we don't miss anybody. Barton Jeffs had lost his diamond before and got it back. He says, leading, mentoring, motivating for all the right reasons with benefits. Barton's brigade is not your average army. Fighting my battles, winning my war. And he says, win your war. So Barton got his back. Looks like we got Lariah Goggins on the 14th of April. We got Tiffany Phoenix on the 14th of April. We got Rachel Romero helped in this group advance 2 of her diamonds, which means she's a 2-star diamond, or that got her 2 more diamonds for her rank advancement as well. So she had Tiffany Phoenix and, like I said, Lariah Goggins go to diamond. That's important as well of you when we run groups like this in the future, or that you run them, to get your coaches in and participate in these things, because that's how you're going to go from diamond to 1-star to 2-star to 5-star. Next, we have Nicole Ludwig, also went diamond on April 7th. Claudia Caballero went diamond on the 21st. Laura Larson got her diamond back on the 26th, which was just barely. Amy Peterson got her diamond back. Heather Sprague got her diamond back. And Lauren Borzinski got her diamond back this morning as well. So I didn't count that, but that's like, I don't know, like 20 people got their diamond back today. So I just want to take a quick couple minutes and celebrate them. Is anybody that's on live with us right now one of the ones that got the diamond? Kira, I'm going to ask you. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what it took for you to become diamond. Like, what's working for you? Why are you doing this?
Well, I actually hit diamond first last year, June 2015. So kind of when you mentioned that despair feeling, I think it's like November 2015, I went back to Emerald and then to Ruby and back to Emerald. So I kind of was feeling that despair moment where I was like, I hit diamond and then I lost it. And come January, I just kind of changed my focus. I started focusing on relationships more. I also started to force personal development in my challenge groups, which has helped remarkable. So if you don't do that, do it. It's a requirement. If you're in my challenge groups, you need to be doing personal development. Also recognition. So if anybody became a coach, I would not only recognize it in our team groups, but also in the challenge groups. I'd like, hey, congrats, so-and-so became a discount coach or a business coach, and I would congratulate them on that. And I noticed that once I congratulated one, it would motivate the other ones to go forth with it as well. Awesome. So that was helping too. Also, Scotty, you mentioned the 2 books, the 10X Rule, and then also Crush It. Well, I made sure Crush It, I ended up listening to 3 times in this past month, and the 10X Rule 5 times. So I have been upping my personal development a lot, and I'm just finding that, I'm just trying to give it 110%, and that's what's been working. So
do your best and forget the rest.
yeah.
And I think a lot of times what we miss out individually is that we don't actually give our best. Like we can always give, like that book 10X, we can do like 10 times what we're doing. Like right now, we can give 10 times what we're doing. And when you understand that and then just apply that, the rest will happen. Just like how Kira got her diamond back, feeling empowered, changing things, right? I think one of the greatest things that I ever heard was, like, if you want something to change in your life, or let's say in your business, it says for things to change, you have to change. You have to change the way that you think and the way that you act. So if you're an emerald that's been an emerald for 3 years, or an emerald that's been emerald for 90 days, and you want to move forward, and it seems like you're not getting traction or it's not happening, you have to take that saying, for things to change, you have to change. So that always includes your mindset and also your actions. Like I shared at the beginning of this call, like we didn't hit the 15-star diamond goal. So this morning, like I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, what am I doing like that other 15-star diamond coaches are not doing? And it was awesome when you can get people together like this. Like even just listening, like Lisa's one of my coaches, been a coach for 7 months, basically took business from brand new emerald to diamond in 60 days. And I learned something from her there and wrote a note. She reached out to each of those coaches, right? Those were the people she were counting on to become a diamond, to move her business to diamond. So she was reaching out to them first thing every single morning. And then I realized, right, that's what I have to change. I was not reaching out to my leaders. I love everybody, and that's how I am. And I continue to do that. But I was I could have took some of the focus I was doing in running my new Coach Basics group and had other coaches on my team, leaders, run more of that so they could grow, right? And then I could take on the responsibility of mentoring these diamonds into stronger diamonds. So it's like just looking like that's where, just listening to Lisa, that's where I need to change in that aspect. So awesome.
Body.
Yes.
One more thing. Also, I wrote my why out and I put it up on my bathroom mirror. So, and I would read that twice in the morning and twice in the evening. And I found that really just helped me to start my day off good and end it good as well. And I can relate to actually Lisa a lot. I actually feel a lot blessed now because I only get to see my fiance he's gone 3 weeks in the month. I get to see him a week every month. So I know how you feel, and it's not easy. So, and that's part of my why.
There you go. So another hint, right? Another success leaves clues on why. So like as I listened to Kira, she had a strong why. She repeated it to herself consistently. So it's a part of her driving force that pushes her, right? If you have that purpose or that reason, you don't need somebody to like, she doesn't even need this diamond group to push her to diamond because she's so compelled by spending time with her fiance that pushes her, that pulls her towards that. So that's why that's so important. The other thing that I heard is she changed things that she wasn't doing before. She changed her mindset of the feelings of despair to things of empowerment, which if you look at that, the empowering things were, instead of wondering why everything was going away, right, or dropping to ruby or dropping to emerald, she focused on why she was doing this. What was the reason, right? And so that's what she's focusing on. And then for things to change, you have to change. She's like, look at the amount of books and audio that she listened to, which was probably 10 times what you listened to when you were feeling those feelings of despair, right? Mm-hmm. So awesome. Okay, that was great insight. So what happens from here? I'm going to read something. You may have read it or not, but I want people, especially you guys that are pushing for diamond. Like diamond is just like we're going to look at it like the first floor of like a 100-floor building. Okay, guys, because I went to diamond like 4 years and 10 months ago. I was a diamond coach. That's when I became a diamond coach. And I have not, like when I worked towards that diamond, I worked hard. And the reason was to bring Gabby home from work. Like we never saw each other but half a day on a weekend. And when I could sneak into the front desk of the hotel and grab a chocolate chip cookie before her manager saw her to say hi, right? So I didn't need Lindsay or anybody to tell me, like, to keep me accountable, I guess is the word, because I was so driven to, like Lisa, I was working, like I decided, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to work my business 2 hours a day from 8 to 10. Lo and behold, like 3 months in, I was working from 8 to 12:30 in the night because I wanted to do everything possible to connect with as many people as I could. Because one thing that I heard from one of my mentors is like, I knew that I was a hard worker, that I had a strong enough reason. And he said, if you can find 8 guys, he said 8, I don't know why he didn't say 15. If you can find 8 guys just like you, you're going to crush it in this business and you're going to achieve more than you ever thought possible. And so I just made that my mission. Like Beachbody was no longer this overwhelming thing. It was work hard on my transformation, read books, connect with positive people. And my invites were me interviewing people to see if they were like me, if I could find people that had a big enough reason like me. So my job every day still today is to find people. Like I want to meet somebody and I have something to give them that will change their life, but I'm going to give everybody that opportunity, but I'm looking for the Lisa Matthews, the Kira Elise, even though Kira is one of my coaches, but that's what I look at Beachbody as. When I wake up and work, I'm trying to find that person. And then I'm going to give them the tools so that they, like Lisa, can take it and they can run with it and completely change their family and their health and their relationships and everybody they come into contact to. That doesn't sound too complicated, does it? Like that's Beachbody for me. And then like that sounds kind of preachy, right? Like, that's all it is. And I'm often like that. But I'm going to give you guys, as we leave this call today, the areas that we need to focus on so that you can become strong in this business and teach other people how to do it. And fact of the matter, I'm not great at all of them. But the thing is I'm working on all of them. And we have coaches on our team that are great at some of them, where I'm great at other ones. And so if we can work on each other's strengths, like if I'm not good at organization, which I'm not going to stress out on spending all my energy becoming organized. I'm going to teach my coaches how to use a leader's system. If they need organization, I'm going to just teach them how to use their stuff. Does that make sense? That way I can focus on what I'm good at and become the best at it. And that's what you guys each need to do, is find what you're good at. Like Lisa's good at running challenge groups. So in all honesty, like if she makes a video teaching how she does her challenge groups, and one of my coaches say, how do I run a good challenge group? I'm not going to spend time 30 minutes on the phone teaching them. I'm going to send them Lisa's video. Right? And then I'll send, if they need something that I'm good at, I'll send them a video or talk to them on the phone about what I'm good at. Does that make sense? Like find what you're good at and then use the team resources to help teach your team. So I'm going to read something so that you guys can see kind of the bigger vision of this. And if you might have read it already, but I'm going to read it to you guys. I'll move my screen over here. So Brigitte Linford, I'm going to talk about Brigitte just for a minute, and I'm not going to have exactly everything completely, maybe all the numbers not exactly right on some numbers I'm going to give on our personally sponsored coaches. But I remember, I'm going to tell you guys a little story about Brigitte Linford. I was working hard my first year. I was still not a 1-star diamond at 12 months. Brigitte signed up on my 12th month, on my 1-year mark. I still had no diamonds. It was just me, diamond coach. I went diamond in 93 days, and I spent 9 months trying to figure out how to create another diamond, like praying that I could figure this out and duplicate myself. Because remember, like that guy told me, if you can find 8 guys like you, you're going to have the amazing business, accomplish everything you ever want in your life. And I'm like, okay, where's the guy like me? Because I'm here, and I'm still here a year later, working 8 hours, not sleeping at night, sacrificing, eating, breathing, living, personal development, and helping people. And then came Brigitte. And this is why it's so important to eat, breathe, live, share, because she watched me for 3 months without saying a word on Facebook. She went to like we both live in Idaho Falls. She went to the opposite high school. She went through my photos. She never clicked add as a friend. She never clicked follow. She never liked a post. She never commented on a post. But later, after she signed up, I found out that she read every post every single day. She woke up, she searched my name on Facebook, read the posts, and she bought Shakeology from Team Beachbody and started P90X and lost 30 pounds. And her and her husband together lost 50 pounds in 90 days and fell in love with Shakeology. And then 90 days later, she said, I can do that. Like, I see what he's doing on Facebook and YouTube. I can do that. And that's the day that she wrote me as a complete stranger. Hey, this may seem kind of like creeper-ish, like a stalker, and I apologize for that, but I've been watching your posts, and I've seen what you do. This is how it's changed me and my husband. I want to become a coach, and you can show me how it works, and I know I can do what you're doing. And she signed up, and she became a diamond in 90 days. I told her to hit Success Club 10, become a diamond in 90 days. She did that. And then she kept learning and growing. And her team's name is Forward Fitness. Some of you guys are on that team. And what it means basically is every day you wake up and you take another step forward, no matter what happens. The only way to get to a goal is to keep stepping forward, right? To keep seeing the end goal where you want to go and to continue walking forward. So that's how it all started. And, in 2 years, she became a 15-star diamond coach. That's a superstar diamond. I'm her coach, been a coach for 5 years and still not hit that goal, right? So that's what this girl has accomplished. 2013, she was announced as the CEO Leadership Award of the company. Carl Deichler gave her CEO Leadership, which is what he sees as the best leader in Team Beachbody. And so that's how her journey's kind of gone. She became $1 million earner, which means between her and her husband's account, last October when we were at Leadership, she hit the $1 million earner, which means between just her account, she earned $1 million with Team Beachbody. And then she made a post yesterday on her 4-year anniversary, and I'm going to read it to you guys because it has to apply to each one of us. And I'm going to actually show you guys the picture because it'll be kind of cool to see it. We're going to read it together, I guess is the word. Tell me when you can see my screen. Let's see. Okay, there it is. All right, can you guys see it? Okay. So we're going to come right here. I wrote a little post on top of it, but I'm going to read hers. And I want you to go back and read this because I wrote a post as well. Actually, I'll read the whole thing so you can think about it. So in 4 years, she added up all of her accounts and she wrote me on Facebook. She wasn't sure if she should share this or not because it's one of those things, like how do I word this the right way? And she's earned $1.9 million between her husband and her account in 4 years with Team Beachbody. $1.9 million. And what I know is she worked like Lisa in the beginning. Like I remember my job as her mentor, and it's fun to think back on, like I didn't have to tell her to work. Like she lived a time where we'll read some of it in the thing, but one thing that's not in that thing is there were times they foreclosed on their home. They lost their home in Utah. There was a time when she was literally returning light bulbs from the ceiling to Walmart to get some money for food for her family. So talk about a why, right? Like, so that, like not being able to own a home because of that foreclosure and living that, she saw this as her answer and her opportunity to change that, right? And so like she worked like Lisa Matthews talked about. My role as her mentor, like she had a reason pushing her. She worked. Like we're both LDS or Mormon. And I remember her saying that she wouldn't work her business on Sunday. It was a day of rest and family. And it was kind of funny, and she probably talk to me about saying this, but she would go to bed on Sunday at 6:00 sometimes, and not spend the time with her family. So she could get up at 1:00 on Monday morning and work her business because she wouldn't work on Sunday. And my job to her was to help her find, as her mentor, I guess you could say, is to help her find balance, the balance between family and the business. And like there were times where I had to just call her, I'd get a message from her and I'd call her and I'd say, Brigitte, turn off your computer, leave your phone at home and take your kids to the park. Go play with your kids. Like you need balance. And so like that was my role, but that's how hard she worked at this business. Like waking up at 1, like major sacrifices, right? But here's what I'm going to read. And she worked those hours like Lisa and went diamond in under 90 days. And I can tell you as a diamond, she made what, $50 to $100, a week. You don't make a lot of money as a diamond. And so all those hours, 10 hours a day could seem like it's not worth it, right? You could have those feelings that we talked about where you're like, oh my gosh, this is like $1 an hour if you do the math. Like I remember that's what I was thinking at times, like, whoa, this is crazy. But I understood the bigger picture, and that's what Brigitte saw. And she relates it just because like she met me in person. She's like, if you can do it, I see the picture, what it's done. So I trust the process. Like to me, it's not just $1 an hour. Like I see what it's going to bring. And so I'm going to read this, what I wrote and then what she wrote. I want to take the time to read this post and put it into perspective with your life and your goals. or what your goals are, even to expand what is possible for you. Brigitte and I are both from a small town in Idaho Falls. One thing about Brigitte is that she made a real decision and used obstacles in a way that empowered her to learn and grow. She always moved forward, taught others to do the same, and shared openly about her life. And you're going to read that in her post. She worked hard, sometimes getting up at 1 a.m. on Mondays to work on her dream. The first few hundred hours produced something like $100. It might not seem worth it if you don't understand the compound effect. For me, personally, the hours of sacrifice, no sleep, tears, rejection, loss of social acceptance from some friends, and hours of study and work for $10,800 an entire year. That's what I made in an entire year, sleeping at times 4 hours a night. That is what I made my first year with all of that work. It equaled out to what seemed $3 an hour. But if you do the math of the compound effect on each year, work consistently over time, it is nearly the same as Brigitte's here. $1.9 million in 4 years equals 407. If you take it back and divide it by the 4 years, $475,000 a year. So what seemed like at times she was making no money, making no impact, she literally made $500,000 that year for that work that she put in. That's nearly $40,000 a month, every month of her entire career as a Beachbody coach. But in the moment, it looked like very little. You see, that's what happens when the root system is growing and you continue watering the seeds faithfully with a vision of life and hope that will sprout in the beautiful garden you can envision. Brigitte always focused on growing herself and contributing to others. That's what it takes every day. What would happen if you put 4 years of 110% effort into building yourself, your skills and relationships with others, without comparing yourself to others, without letting fears and limiting beliefs hold you back, working hard on your legacy, as most of you have worked throughout your college years or even your career? Take a look at how Brigitte relates her journey to a 4-year college, which is what I share with every new coach in my new coach webinar. Happy to see you graduate today on your 4-year anniversary. So she get this little picture here, great way to share, right? Like she's holding a degree. This is what she writes. I might cry, so bear with me. Okay, today I earned my 4-year Beachbody degree. Okay, there's really no such thing, but that's how I feel today, because 4 years ago today I signed up as a Beachbody coach. As a new coach, I remember hearing a call where someone compared building this business to earning a college degree. People invest at least 4 years to earn a college degree. They spend hours and hours studying late nights, making sacrifices, adopting a whatever it takes mentality to earn that degree. And they don't even get paid for all that hard work at college. In fact, most people accrue debt at college, spending a lot of money for that piece of paper, a piece of paper that gives them the opportunity to then start making money. What if people approach Beachbody the same way, with a willingness to spend at least 4 years learning about this, studying all you can, and giving this your all? I see people give up Beachbody because it's not a get-rich-quick kind of deal, and yet they don't make money quick at college, so what gives? When I heard the comparison between earning a degree and working Beachbody, I felt a glimmer of hope, redemption, and a second chance, because I never earned my college degree. Funny thing as well is I never earned mine. At 21, during what should have been my senior year of college, I was in a mental hospital. All of my friends were making graduation plans and getting married, and I was locked up in an institution. I was kicked out of BYU 2 times for getting bad grades. The second time they told me I couldn't come back for 5 years. But today, I earned my fancy piece of paper, my Beachbody degree. I can look back on the last 4 years with a clear conscience, knowing I've given this my all. I have done my best. And this is my scary share, but as of today, I have earned almost $1.9 million between all of our accounts. It blows my mind to think about that. Adding up those numbers made my stomach flip last night. I am so grateful. God has been so gracious and good and blessed me beyond what I can comprehend. I had so many doubts about myself, about the future starting this business, but I kept 2 scriptures on my whiteboard. Through God, all things are possible, and inasmuch as you keep my commandments, ye shall prosper. How those 2 scriptures have brought me peace and hope in the past 4 years, and how true God has proven them to be. As I was praying this morning and writing in my journal, I was in tears, just thanking God for this whole journey I've been on and what I've learned and how much I've changed, and yes, for the income as well. And I felt the Spirit tell me that God has always wanted to bless me, and He wanted to bless others as well, but He can't bless us against our will. I blocked the blessings by my behavior for a long time. We can't do that, guys. Our behavior and actions either allow the blessings to flow or we block it. But I feel so strongly God wants to bless all of us. He loves us. I'm so grateful for the business and the avenue it has been to see so many blessings. I am eternally in debt to God, and I'm grateful for this second chance. Thank you to my mentor, Scotty, for showing me the way. Thank you for my team for standing with me and continually moving forward. Dang it, I can't almost read this. Thank you to my husband, Jason, for your support has always been crucial and appreciated. Thank you to Heavenly Father. I am in awe of what you've done and continue to do for my life. And of course, I got to say it too because we're on video. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of income or Team Beachbody coach opportunity. Each coach's income depends on his or her own efforts, diligence, and skill. Hot dang. That, like, I want you to think of the bigger picture here. You guys, like, imagine your lives at the goals that you want, the things you want for your family. Like she says that God wants to bless your family with. I know God doesn't want Lisa to spend 30 days with her husband out of the year, right? Like he wants that for her and anything that you guys want. So as I think about that and you think about your own goals, I want you to think of a bigger picture. Like try to just put yourself in somebody else's shoes right now. And I want you to sit right, like pretend you're where I'm at. Not what we've accomplished with our family of the 5 kids and what we've done for my parents, but imagine reading a post like that from somebody that was in your challenge group that lost 30 pounds, that you gave a second chance at life to show that you could do something amazing with it. Like how would that make you feel? Like this is the most rewarding thing in the world. If you can just embrace that bigger picture and treat it like that college degree. So that's inspirational and all, right? But I want you guys to remember that started with Brigitte hitting diamond in under 90 days, and that was her foundation. And this is the part where I said I don't know the exact number, but from what I believe and remember from a conversation about 2 years ago in her home in Phoenix, is that only, I believe, 2 coaches from her team, from her original diamond, are still on her team. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that. And that's why it's so important to continue. Like, don't turn into a manager once you hit your diamond, to continue building and finding those people just like you. And, I've experienced the same thing that she has in my own journey as my coach, with my coaches and my team as we've grown together as well. And so many times when you can have those doubts, like, is this possible? But just continuing, like she said, like this is like a 4-year degree. Give everything you have with that same mentality that people go to school for 4 years or 8 years, and they never give up. They lose sleep. They lose time with their family. Some of them, they go into the military to get their school for free. And they take all of those sacrifices and they never stop just to get that piece of paper to one day hopefully get a good career, to hopefully make income, to pay off that debt to that career. This is an opportunity where you can get that degree, like learn all of the skills, relationship skills, bring, as her and I were talking about the other day, bring the shit in your life that holds you back, the limiting beliefs that you've held on to for so long. This business brings that to the front page, and you have to deal with them and overcome them. And that's the thing. That's how you build this business, is you overcome those, and then you help other people overcome those. So Brigitte overcoming what used to be, in a mental institution for suicidal thoughts as a teenager, and for losing her home, taking all of those struggles, and instead of having emotions of despair, she used Beachbody as a way to create emotions of empowerment, of how she can overcome those and help somebody else overcome it. So it's like picturing, like putting your hand back, reaching back to help somebody else come from where you once were to where you are now and where you're going in the future. So, okay, I'm done with the inspirational part. That's enough inspiration for me today. Like, seriously, guys, to understand, like, I don't do this for the money. Like, I am so fulfilled by, like, seeing Lisa get excited on a Voxer message last night that she hit her diamond. Like, that made my day. Like, reading Brigitte's post made me cry last night, and reading it again made me cry again. Like, this is so fulfilling and rewarding if you can look at the bigger picture and find the parts that you need to work on, and work on them and build them, just like a career. Like, if you're going to be a doctor, at one point you're going to study chemistry. and you got to learn it. And you might not know anything about it, but you got to learn it. Or human anatomy and physiology. You got to go through that class. So think as your Beachbody career is you've got to go through all those classes. You can't do all the classes in all the years in one 30-day, 60-day, 90-day challenge and push. But you can learn a little bit at a time each day like Brigitte did. So what I want to talk about as we leave here is it's going to be crucial, right? Like I said before, remember 80% of your success is your mindset and your like the reason why. 20% the mechanics. So what I work with my personally sponsored coaches, and Lisa can attest to this, and a conversation I had with Darren, I see Darren with his beautiful daughter there yesterday, is being able to tell your story. Like Brigitte tells her story beautifully. If you read her post, she tells her story every single day. You'll see me, if you watch my YouTube videos, all I'm doing is telling little parts of my life and little experiences every single day. I'm telling parts of my life and telling my story every single day. Lisa went diamond. She told us her story about how she's not supposed to be raising her family and being like that, right? That's telling her story. Kira, seeing her fiance 1 week out of the month, that's telling her story, right? So that's a huge and powerful part of this. But what I want you guys to know is like, that's the main part. Like if you want to build a strong business, build a culture of learning how to tell your story and teaching your coaches how to tell their story. But then now we're going to get to the technical part. Now we got to learn the skills, right? Of the skills. And that's what we kind of tried to teach you over the past a few weeks with this push. We taught you a bunch of skills, right? 2 webinars a week, some pre-recorded, some live. We taught you skills. You know, Kendra had time management stuff. The one 2 days ago was Missy Reber, how to create a thriving, like a culture. Like we taught you different skills about this business, which are important and that you've got to learn. But remember, you've got your entire life to learn this, your entire career as a Beachbody coach, if you look at this as a career. So don't feel overwhelmed in these 60 days if you didn't hit your goal and you don't have all those mastered, because I don't have them mastered yet. And I've been a coach for 5 years. So I want you to write these down. These are the 7 skills that you've got to learn and you've got to teach your team. And remember, you don't have to be the best at teaching it. Like let somebody else teach it. If somebody's better at you than teaching it, like if you're good at, for example, teaching somebody how to invite, make that the thing that you're great at and you teach everybody and that be your thing. And maybe somebody is better at getting coaches started right, which is a skill. Like let them teach, like use their abilities and skills to help teach your team those skills. So here's the 7 skills. Number 1, finding prospects. And this is from a book called GoPro. And I've gone to 2 of those events. So number 1 is finding prospects. Number 2 is inviting. And that's inviting means inviting people to join you on this journey, whether as a customer or a coach. Number 3 is presenting the business opportunity. That's a skill. Number 4 is following up. That's a skill. Number 5 is closing the deal, like closing like a challenge pack, a customer, a coach. Number 6 is getting people started right. And number 7 is promoting events. So events are national wake-up calls, team calls, Super Saturday events, summit, and any team events that you create or that your team creates. Those are the 7 skills, okay? So I'm going to have you do an activity right now so that you can self-evaluate. Like I did this morning, I self-evaluated why we're not a 15-star diamond team yet. So on a level of 1 to 10, I want you to, because you guys wrote that down, I want you to write next to each of those where you're at on a level of 1 to 10 right now. Okay? With 1 being not very good, with 10 being I'm good at this. So take like 3 minutes and go down that list and write a number next to each one of those on where you're at. Actually, I did this in November, but I'm going to redo it right now. Okay. If you haven't finished, that's going to be a takeaway activity that you can do as you leave this call. So now, how many of you guys have at least one coach on your team? Raise your hand. Okay. Everybody here. So you guys have a team, right? You're a leader. That person trusted in you to join this business for you to be the example that they can follow. That if they follow you, they will be successful in this business. And that's both mindset and activity and skills, right? Both those things, if they follow that. And that's what I say a good leader is. If somebody follows your actions, both your mindset and your skills that you do, then they will create success in their business. So now I want you to make another column, and I want you to write those same, do the number thing again, but for your team. Like, how good is your team at finding prospects? How good is your team at inviting? How good is your team at presenting, following up, closing, getting people started right, and promoting events? So take 2 minutes and write those numbers for your team. Okay. And I'll let you think about that as well as we leave out of here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read you mine so you can understand where I'm at a little bit. And remember, it takes, according to the book, that book, GoPro, if you read it or go to the events, it takes 7 years. Brigitte talked about this as a 4-year career, like a 4-year college degree. It takes 7 years to become a professional and to master these 7 skills, okay? And that's just you. 7 years for you to become a 10 in all of those categories. And what you need to understand is that your team average will always be lower than yours. So to get your team up to that level is going to take even longer than 7 years, okay? So you have to be a long-term thinker, like Brigitte showed in this, to be successful in this business and to create a team as well. So here's mine. After 5 years, here's what I rate myself as. Finding prospects, 10. Inviting, 10. Presenting the coach opportunity, 10. Following up, 7. Closing, 7. Getting people started right, 6. Promoting events, 6. My team, finding prospects, 4. Inviting, 5. Presenting, 6. Following up, 5. Closing, 5. Getting people started right, 3. And number 7, promoting events, I see my team as a 2. Okay? So I have a lot of work to do still. But here's what I want you to do with that list. You're where you're at right now. I want you to set a goal for next year, April 28th of next year, where you want your team, where you want yourself to be on those skills, and where you want your team to be on those skills. So now make another column that says goal, and make a goal for your team. And you can do that after this call because we're right at an hour and I need to wrap it up as well. But make sure that you write that goal. What I want you guys to know is, like I talk about with my new coaches, is so important. Like, the secret key or ingredient to this business is teaching people how to tell their story, how to connect with somebody and tell their story. But on top of that, you've got to create skills. You've got to develop these skills in yourself and teach these skills to your team. And it's important that you guys work together as a team. Like I said, like Kendra Fletcher is a master organization. So I'm going to teach my team to become more organized with their follow-ups, right? Or more organized on their getting people started right process using what she's good at teaching. I'm going to increase my skills as well, but to help the team increase their level, I'm going to use her. I'm going to leverage her skills as well. So it's going to be important. Like, what I want for this team is that we create not just people that are good at telling their story, but also that we create a culture of these skills. Because here's the important thing, guys, about these skills. These skills you can transfer to anything in your life, okay? Like, I'll tell you something that I did. So we're closing on a vacation home in St. George that we're going to put on a rental market as like an extra income stream for long-term financial stability for the family, right? So we stayed at this home, and the realtor that helped us get into our home let us stay in his vacation home for free, right? So it's just in my nature to give back. Like, I can't take something for free. So I made him a promotional video. I showed video clip. I made a little video and I put it on Facebook, and it got like 5,000 views. And he shared it from his website. He shared it from his thing. And he's like, in all my years of business, I've never seen Like I've had customers stay in my home and leave a good review. This customer went above and beyond and made a promotional video for my home. And he's like, it's no wonder that he has such a successful business with what he does. So you've got to grasp that relationship part of this business where you give to people. Like you never expect anything in return, you give. But here's the point that I want to give. I learned that skill of how to make videos in my process of learning how to find prospects, creating things that grab people's attention, that move them, that make them want to take action. Like making videos is a skill that I learned to help me find prospects. So that's a skill that I transferred into, for example, to this. And he asked me, like he owns like 5 businesses, like he's a multi-millionaire with real estate and vacation homes. And he asked me, like, you've got to teach me how to do that. Because they own hundreds of homes. Like, you got to teach me how. I did that for one of his for free. So that's a skill. Like, the skills you learn in this business, you can transfer to anything in your life. Like, if you look at this like that, as I sat down with him, he's like, I would pay $2,000 for that minute and a half video you made me. And I was like, what the? That's my whole month of work at my old job. But that's because I focused on this business on building the skills to attract people or prospects. Is it making sense of that? Like if you work on these skills, you can apply those to anything. Like if I wanted to 10 years from now, I could go to every vacation company and I could say, let me use a drone and I'll even make even better videos. Let me make videos for your websites for rentals, right? And I could travel the world, stay in these homes, it took me an hour to make his video. I could spend 3 hours, stay in their home for free, make a video, make $2,000 and give my family. Like that's the kind of thing you can do when you focus on learning these skills. Like much bigger than Beachbody. Yes, we're going to build this Beachbody, help other people do that, but build the skills and it's going to serve you for the rest of your life. Okay? And that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. So build a culture of telling your story, like you guys saw in Kira, Lisa, Brigitte, telling their story, who they are, what they struggle with, and why they're changing it. Teach other people to do that and work on building these skills. And I have one challenge to you guys on top of that goal setting thing that I did is I want you guys, we're going to call it one person, I don't know what to call it, one person a day gratitude. They call it the gratitude challenge. Write that down. No, we're going to call it something different. It's going to be a citizen challenge because we're going to reach people. The Be a Citizen Challenge. Okay? And what that means is you're going to do 90 days. Like coming out of this, we just did a 60-day push. You're going to do 90 days where you call one person a day with no agenda. What no agenda means is you're not trying to sell them anything. You're not trying to recruit them to anything. You're not trying to push them to do anything. You're going to do your business just like you're doing. You're going to spend 90 days being a good citizen. You're going to call somebody, ask them how they're doing, congratulate them for their daughter graduating from school or for their son winning their hockey game. 90 days with no agenda. You've got to go 100% no agenda. And here's what's going to happen. They're going to reach back to you, the majority of them, because you're consistent on Facebook or YouTube or your blog. And because you had no agenda, they're going to come back to you one day, whether it be 1 month, 2 weeks, 3 months, and they're going to say, how's that thing going for you? And that's going to be your opportunity later to introduce them to how you can help them. Does that make sense? Does everybody want to do that challenge with me coming out of this? Okay, we're going to call it let's hashtag it. Who's that?
So are we talking, we don't want to talk anything Beachbody?
No, unless they ask you.
That's what I was going to say. If they ask you, you don't want to have the conversation about you, though. You want to flip it to ask them more questions, get it off of you kind of thing? Or
even if you don't even talk about Beachbody there, that's okay. That's okay. For example, one of my new diamonds that came back is Becky. And like her daughter won a volleyball tournament, like they're champions. So for example, for me today, let's say Becky was a prospect. I saw that on my Facebook wall. I would call her or leave her a voice memo on Facebook with the app. And I would say, hey, Becky, I just saw that your daughter won the championship with her volleyball team. That's so amazing. You know, that I know that like things like that you're putting your daughter in organized sports like that is teaching her so many things about winning and never giving up. And you're just a great example to her for giving her those opportunities. I just wanted to say, like, you're amazing. Have an awesome, an amazing Thursday. Hope you guys have some fun plans for the weekend, right? If I have her number, I'll call her and try to have that conversation in person. If not, I'll leave a voice message. If there's nothing about Beachbody, that's okay, because later she could come back and say she can see a transformation come back, right? But go in with no agenda. But if I called you, Lisa, and I say something about something that's going on in your life, and we're talking, and you say, like, what's that Beachbody thing? Then you can tell your story and invite them. But I don't want you to try to sneak it in there. Don't try to sneak it in. If they ask you, tell your story and invite them. If not, send the phone call, because they're going to watch what you're doing. Like Brigitte watched me for 3 months without saying anything. And one day they're going to say, how does that thing work? Like, I see what you're doing. How does that work? So it's 90 days of gratitude. We'll call it 90 days of gratitude calls. We're going to call it Be a Citizen. I'm going to hashtag it, Be a Citizen or something. No, we can't do that, because you're not going to post on Facebook that you called somebody or a citizen. In your own mind or in your team, like if you want to do it in your team page, if you're going to do that challenge with your team, let them know who you called and what you talked about. And remember that intent matters when you do this. Intent matters. Like if you go in and you have that agenda of selling them a challenge pack or signing them as a coach, that's the wrong intent. So go in with intent to be a good citizen and to just encourage them or give them recognition for what they did. And I think that goes along great with Carl's recognition as the 4th vital behavior that we've just adopted. And I think that's going to be an amazing challenge. So let's go in. That puts us till summit. And I can guarantee if you're consistent in all the other stuff, people are going to start asking you. So I love you guys. I'm proud of everybody that advanced. I'm proud of everybody that showed up and moved forward. And I'm more proud of where we're going with this. And I'm going to say what Coach Sean Bourguignon says: we are good people doing good things to help other good people. That's who we are. That's what we stand for. That's what I see us as a team doing. And I love you guys. I'm proud of you guys for what you've done in the past 60 days. So see you guys later. This is recorded so you can share it with your teams as well. Bye-bye.